what's up guys, I'm KBHD here. So I've been using the iPhone 11 Pro for about 6-7 months now, maybe a little longer than that. Doesn't sound like that long, but for this weird world I live in where I'm switching between smartphones all the time, testing all these different ones, that's kind of a long time actually for me to be using one phone. OnePlus 8 Pro in the other pocket for those of you who know about the whole dual smartphone situation. So I figured, you know what, let's do a longer term review. This is something I've seen a lot more actually on YouTube and I really like it, so I'm jumping in. But the original review is usually shot after 1 to 2 weeks of using the phone, and there's only so much you can pick up in that time. And inevitably after that, you know, I try to tweet new things that I find, but there are new findings and new things that you learn about a phone that you want to share. You should follow me on Twitter if you want to see those things when I do share them, but that's what this is about. So why not take a second look at one of the phones that seems to come up all the time, months after it comes out. This is the iPhone 11 Pro revisited, plus a look forward at iPhone 12. Okay, so one of the things you can get a pretty good idea of when the phone first comes out is build quality. Not just how it feels in the hand, but like really how well it's actually built. And iPhones have a pretty good track record, at least as of late, you know, of lasting a long time, but they're also glass, and glass is glass. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again until it's no longer true. I don't use a case on my phone, never really have. So this phone just travels around just like this. So this iPhone's been in pockets, in gym bags with cleats, in backpacks, you know, in car cup holders. It gets tossed around a lot and put in a lot of different places. Now, the stainless steel on the sides has held up great. Looks almost exactly like it did the day I got the phone, which you might expect. And the matte finish on the back has done a good job of hiding some of those micro scratches, a lot better than a glossier phone would. But the front glass, not so much. Some phones get this worse than others, and from my experience, iPhones tend to get these micro scratches more easily, but you can see on my iPhone a lot of visible scratches all over the display. Not so bad that it would, you know, actually interrupt the viewing experience like a crack, but they add up as the phone gets used more and more. Now I'm gonna say a lot of these are because I tend to put my phone face down on my desk and on counters and other places around me, and we know there's plenty of dust and random grit that can just happen to get under there and cut the glass of the phone, but it just seems like it's worse on the iPhone than other phones I've used, so I'm gonna try to get out of the laying the phone down, face down habit. Internal specs have held up pretty much perfectly, and this is what I'm talking about in the initial review when I say it's got tons of performance headroom. Because out the box, of course, every phone feels great, and the iPhone is one of the fastest feeling phones, you know, 1, 2, 6 months later. But that's a sort of a trajectory for the 2 years, 3 years, 4 years later when it's still one of the fastest feeling 2, 3, 4-year-old phones. That's thanks to the A13 Bionic and 4 gigs of RAM, which don't look like huge specs on paper, but this phone is on pace to be doing just fine in 4 years. Okay, pop quiz. What's rule number 1 of buying a new piece of tech? Never buy a piece of tech like this based on the promise of future software updates to come. Never do that. Just buy it for what it is today, and if it happens to get better over the years, then that's a bonus. That I think especially applies to iPhones because they never really add any crazy features like the way, you know, Android used to be when they would just change everything with a new software update, but it's mostly been minor tweaks and bug fixes. It's definitely more stable now. iOS 13, when it first launched, had a good amount of bugs, and they've been ironing those out. I had this weird bug with